Good morning, my friends. I am Lama Jigme, and this is Meditation Lesson 4, Video 3. So if this is your first time tuning in, do yourself a favor and start with Meditation Lesson 1, Video 1. Now, all these lessons are direct or indirect commentaries on a free practice text that you can download. Below this link, let's try that again. Below this video, there's a little button, about 3 inches below the video, is a button that reads, Show More. You give that a click, it'll reveal a list of links as long as my arm. One of those links is labeled Class Materials. Go there. And a bunch of stuff for free. The stuff that you got to buy because I don't sell them. You know, for instance, I recommend using Mexican cotton yoga blankets. You get that from Amazon. If I manufacture them, I'd give them to you for free, but I don't, so I can, so I won't. What I do is I give you a free image, a free essay, and a free PDF entitled The First Set of Lesson Texts. This lesson, the page we're working on, is page 130. Now, sometimes the numbering can seem wonky, so you will know you're on the right page because the heading reads, Bowing Prayer, Chen Rei Zig, Verbal. Now, in the last lesson, we gave you a line-by-line explanation of what the prayer meant. And I also taught you how to perform a sitting bow, which is great if you're disabled or sickly or tired or whatnot. I'm going to teach you today how to do a Tibetan-inspired bow. It's not exactly a Tibetan bow because it's a different culture with different aesthetics. Most places in Tibet have hardwood floors, at least they did for many centuries. So people would do a sliding bow. I'm going to teach you a crawling bow, which is perfect here in the West, where wall-to-wall shag carpeting seems to rule the earth. Okay. So I would love to be able to show you how to do this on the floor. However, I live in a very small studio apartment. I am the last monk in my Rime Manipa Tantrika lineage, and at this date I have no monastery. I just live in a little teeny studio apartment on the wrong side of the tracks, which makes life very interesting. Literally, I kid you not, I live down the street from the Hells Angels clubhouse. These guys have never bothered me. I've lived here 5 years, walking around in my monastic robes. They never bother me. But that's where I live, because I'm all class all the time. Folks, I was born and raised into the upper middle class. I'm used to going to concerts at the Hollywood Bowl and brunching at the marina. This is a wonderful adventure for me. I've been slumming it for about almost 30 years now. I assure you I'm much older than I look, which is a strong reason why you should use the low-fat, whole-food, plant-based diet. Okay, so I'm making my way over to the bed, because there isn't enough room to use the floor. I can practice on the floor here, but I just can't photograph it. I'm obscured by the couch and the bed and whatnot, which actually is the bed. Okay, now I have to... Every year I sound more and more like my late grandmother, bless her heart. Oi! See? Okay. So, Tibetan-inspired bow specifically for places, Tibetan-inspired crawling bow, which is not describing some sort of a humble begging for scraps attitude. It just describes the way we maneuver. So, this bed is actually a tad shorter for my needs, so at a certain point my arms are going to hang over the bed, But that's not a problem if you're using the floor. Now, what do you bow before? You can bow before just the idea of a Buddha. Remember, I'm a liberal, not a fundamentalist, so I'm completely comfortable with the idea, with the existence or non-existence of Buddhas, with the existence of Buddhas as real people who have accomplished enlightenment, or simply as archetypal possibilities there to inspire us. Being a full liberal, I'm not going to nail it down either way. They both exist as possibilities. Now, if that sounds like it smacks of particle physics, that's because it does. The uncertainty principle, I suspect it's called. So, here's how it works. Hands in the puckered palm, you've already learned that on the previous video. Hands now in the counting video, which you should have already watched. So let's check this out, guys. Huddle up, team. Check this out. In addition to these great meditation videos, on the website you can find enlightened fitness videos. Those are your bread and butter. They'll teach you silent meditations, some as short as 3 minutes, some as long as 90 minutes. So that in that scenario, you've already been taught the crease counting. At the bottom of the videos, or many of the videos, there are links that describe, or that take you to the video where I teach you how to count your creases, which is integral if you're doing bows. Now, many fundamentalist Buddhists, especially fundamentalist tantric Buddhists, are really enthusiastic about collecting, doing 108 to 324 bows a day, every day. As a liberal, I don't do that. Buddha taught that full alignment can be accomplished in as little as a week. And people who are doing the ngondro, or the classical collections of vows and prayers and offerings and whatnot, are assuming it's going to take them years and years and years and years and years. So, I don't really teach ngondro. Bowing is fun to do. It's my favorite way of sunbathing. I get outside in my yoga shorts, I throw down a blanket, I throw down a little statue of Chenrezig. Actually, I set it down. Set down the statue of Chenrezig. I do this a couple times, and it's fun. And because I'm moving the whole time, I'm getting the whole body with the exception of the soles of my feet. Okay, having said that, we already know how to do the puckered palm. We already know how to do crease counting because of your diligent use of my free videos. Whoops. Okay. Why, what a spongy floor Lama Jigme seems to have. Okay, so your hand, just like we did in the seating bow, your hands begin overhead, arms locked out, or near locked out. Then you touch the base of your thumb to the fontanelle, or the crown of your head. Then you touch the tip of your index finger to the center of your lips. Then you touch the base of your thumb to your sternum, or your upper chest. So far, everything is identical to seated bowing. Now, it gets kind of cool. Now, I'm still counting my creases, so regardless of how flexible you are or aren't, or I should say, in respect to how flexible you may or may not be, bend your knees a little bit. So you bend your knees until your hands touch the floor. Then lower your knees and gingerly touch your head. You lift your hands now so your head is supporting your weight, which, by the way, is excellent for your neck. Excellent core exercise. Reach forward. Set your elbows down. That's important. You hinge forward on your elbows and you set down your chest. You reach forward again. Articulate your arms at your elbows to describe a 90-degree bend. Straighten your arms. Retract your arms. What I like to do is I kick my feet up and pitch my hips, and that coiling energy helps me to return to a kneeling position. I'm on the balls of my feet now, and I stand back up. And you might say, I'm scared that's going to hurt my knees. The fact is, we're designed to move this way. Children can move this way effortlessly. Adults, I made a new word up, adults have simply forgotten. One of the beautiful things about doing the Enlightened Fitness videos with me is that you might start off doing couch squats or chair squats, but after weeks or months or quarters, your body will start to remember how to go all the way down. And that's a lot of fun. So, 9 times out of 10, unless you have pins in your knee from some sort of a football debacle, 9 times out of 10, most people can do this. I'm disabled. I can do this. Not every day. Sometimes I can't. If my back's out of alignment, I can't. But I can. And it wasn't always like this. So is this something you have to do? No. Is it something fun to add to your spiritual shed of tools? Yes. So let's do this a couple more times, and then we'll add the words. So I'm going to advance to my left hand. I'm still counting my first set of 9. My right hand, I'm now counting my second repetition. I'm not sure if you can see that, but it doesn't matter because that's already covered on another video. And here we go. Over, crown, lips, sternum, down, knees, head, reach, chest, reach, bend, straighten, retract, coil, pull back, oopsie, that's my focus, on the balls of my feet, stand back up. And as I stand back up, my hands come to my lips. Because we're primates, and primates like making kissy face. Go to the zoo, visit the orangutans. If you kiss the glass, they will kiss you back 9 times out of 10. That ends my discourse on the kissy face potentiality of all primates. Third time, here we go. Over, crown, lips, chest. Head, extend, chest, extend, bend, extend, retract and coil, push back, balls of the feet, stand back up. So that's a lot of fun. Now, if you're good video students, you haven't watched this video until you've mastered what you learned in the previous video. It might take you a week, a month, or a quarter, but after a week, a month, or a quarter of continual practice, the 4-line bowing imperative Chenra Zig should come trippingly off the tongue. Once it has, and you've accidentally memorized it, then you can bow with it. And that's great fun. Now, here's a way to cheat, because I know what it's like to have difficulty memorizing things, what with my brain damage and whatnot. So what I used to do when I was first learning this prayer is I cut and pasted onto a new Word document. I used just the largest font I could fit on a sheet of paper. I printed that sheet of paper out and I taped it just below my image of the Buddha of Compassion so that I could actually read it aloud as I was bowing, which was very useful. So let's continue. This time, we're going to chant. I'm not going to say I got a bad voice, but I'm often paid not to sing. Here we go. Lord white in color, unstained by faults, a perfect Buddha adorning your head. You look upon all beings with eyes of compassion, Chenra Zig, we bow to you. Let's do it a second time. Lord white in color, unstained by faults, a perfect Buddha adorning your head. You look upon all beings with eyes of compassion, Chenra Zig, we bow to you. And a third and final time. Lord white in color unstained by faults, a perfect Buddha adorning her head. You look upon all beings with eyes of compassion, generous, we bow to you. It's a lot of fun. One of the Sakya Panditas wrote this long list of all the benefits to doing Tibetan-inspired bowing. So we'll approach it from a fundamentalist view, then we'll give you a liberal commentary upon it. So this isn't verbatim, this is paraphrased. He said one of the Sakya Panditas, and if I have the terminology a little bit wrong, I apologize for the dodgy recall. Temporal lobe injury is no fun. So, he said, by hands overhead, we create the cause for auspicious rebirth. By hands at the crown, we create the cause for the purification and the blessing of our body. At the lips, the purification and the blessing of our speech and energy. At our chest, the purification and blessing of our minds. So that's pretty good so far. It was explained that 2 knees and 2 hands reminds us of the 4 noble truths and removes 4 obstacles or obstructions that I will explain to you in a future video. The video from either the end of the 2nd quarter or the beginning of the 3rd quarter. I'm not sure exactly how that will pan out. Once again, touching the head, supposed to increase our humility. Reaching out with 2 hands reminds us of the 2 truths of the conventional and ultimate, or how things appear versus how they truly are. It said that reaching out completely is as if we are propitiating or purifying a great amass of bad karma. Pulling back in can remind us of the cyclic or permanent nature of existence. And standing back up can, of course, increase our zeal and enthusiasm. Now, this is a paraphrase. If you're a fundamentalist and you actually are looking at the list of the benefits by the Sakya Pandita, you will no doubtly be disappointed. This is just a rough thumbnail sketch. Now, I'm not a fundamentalist. I am a liberal. So this is how I look at it as a liberal. This is great exercise. You are arguably articulating virtually every joint in your body. You're going from the standing to a crouching to a supine to a crouching to a standing. This coiling and expansion is actually discussed in the Taoist Tai Chi text, or the Tai Chi classics, as being a very natural movement. We see it in kitty cats and dogs and tigers and snakes and birds. This coiling and expanding. It's very, very, it's what our body was designed to do when it's moved organically. So I like this because this is physically refreshing and it's fun. Do I do it every day? No, I don't. But when I do it, I really, really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. It's a great workout. It's a great way to warm up your body and your mind and your heart. Helps to coalesce your energy within your central channel. Helps to increase your resourcefulness, your joie de vivre. Helps to increase your gratitude and the bliss that it induces. Unless you have some sort of a physical malady, I know of no contraindications or contradistinctions against this exercise. It's a lot of fun. Personally, I don't do it before bed because I don't know about you, but I kind of have a history in my past of insomnia. So I don't do devotion-oriented meditations right before bed. Otherwise, I'll be up for an additional 3 hours. But this is a lot of fun. It's a very positive way to wake up in the morning. In the first quarter, you can do these Tibetan-style bows whilst reciting. I sound like former President George W. Bush. I made up a word, recitating. While reciting the four-line prayer to Shinrin. In the second quarter, you can do this while performing the four-line bowing prayer to Grand Tade, which is pretty nice because you got the male Buddha, the female Buddha. According to one of the late teachers of the present Dalai Lama, they're both the same Buddha, just different manifestations. I'm not a fundamentalist. I don't believe it rigidly, but it's a really fun and empowering possibility to play with. You can also do this with the refuge prayer, which you will also learn in the first quarter. The first quarter, if memory serves correctly, is about 12 lessons. So between now and the 12th lesson, you will learn the bowing prayer, and this is a lot of fun to do you will learn the prayer of refuge and bodhicitta, and that can also be done during this. Personally, I prefer to do it either with the Shinrin bowing prayer or the Grand Tade bowing prayer, but I just thought I'd put it out there so you have different options. You can, my friend Albert Einstein said that any educated fool can make things more difficult, more complicated, and more violent. That it takes a lot of courage and wisdom to move in the opposite direction. That, of course, is a paraphrase. So it's not difficult at all to find nuns and monks, lamas, roshis, shifus, bhantis, and the like, who will give you extra stuff to do, who will make it more and more difficult to do. One of the things that sets me apart, in addition to my silliness, is that I want to make it as easy for you as possible. Enlightenment can be accomplished in less than a year. It can be accomplished in less than a quarter. According to the Buddha, it could even be accomplished in less than a fortnight, which is very cool. So if you're looking for someone whose major emphasis, well, there's two ways of approaching this. A fundamentalist, when approaching any teaching, says, number one, how old is it? Number two, how many prominent people like it? One of the ironies of that is that although the Tibetan-style Ngondra has been popular for many centuries, it was never popular in India. So technically, it's more popular than it is old. A liberal, on the other hand, when coming face-to-face with the new teachings, asks, hey, is it effective and is it easy to use? That's it. So there's two different places. One's more stodgy and political, one's more pragmatic and flexible. I like pragmatic and flexible. How's about you? So, that's all you get for today. To quote one of my teachers, have fun, sweat, smile, play with it. Lots of times, people will complain, and rightfully so, that sitting and only sitting can be wearisome to the body. And the answer is, that's exactly right. According to some Buddhist scholars, the three main postures to meditate in are sitting. Well, once you're skilled in meditation, you can meditate standing, walking, sitting, or lying down. But prostrations are a great thing to do during your meditation break, or at least just at the beginning of meditation, because it articulates all your joints, it keeps your channels supple, flexible, and it can prevent energy congestion, which can be a side effect of less than skillful meditation. But if you follow my instructions in these videos and in my Enlightened Fitness videos, that will not be a problem for you at all. My friends, I thank you for your time, your kind attention, your enthusiasm to evolve, and your support. May you and yours be healthy and happy. Om Mani Padme Hum. My camera angle is a bit skewed right now, so allow me to invite you to subscribe if you have not, and click like, and then share. I mentioned some, oh yes, over here, there should be a button that says YouTube. Give that a click. It'll take you to, what's it called, your home page. Towards the left-hand, on the left-hand column, you might have to scroll down until you find a tab that reads Manage Subscriptions. Give that a click. Look up Lama Jigme. And to the right, you'll notice a little box. If you check that box with your mouse, you could receive an email notification for the next video that I upload. Haven't taken care of that. Remember those links I told you about? Those links I told you about below the video? You could use one of those links to help keep this monk fed and help support my good works. That would be lovely, but it's not mandatory. I will turn no good-hearted person away for something as silly as finances. I'm free, and I'm going to pay it forward. There is another link
that you could use to register for the next series of weekly webinars. When do they begin? Monday, the 6th of May. There's still a few seats left because we use a webinar program. Actually, we use an upgraded version of Skype, so there's only so many people who can participate in it. So before it fills up, if you are interested in this, use the link to register. You could do that right now if you wanted to. If you have problems registering, if you don't get a confirmation email, if it gets confusing for you, don't worry. Just write me through Facebook, and I'll do my best to walk you through the process if that's what's required. Monday, the 6th of May. I'll see you then. Bye-bye now.